Non-avian dinosaurs inhabited Earth for roughly 170 million years, and many were dominant giants, reminiscent of monsters from myth or legend. The enormous predator Tyrannosaurus rex weighed over 7 metric tons and had jaws so strong that it could crush and consume the bones of its prey. Even herbivorous dinosaurs were armed to the teeth. Giants like Ankylosaurus had a massive club tail, while ceratopsians had bony frills and horns. These defensive weapons allowed them to fight off predators and protect their vulnerable young. The largest dinosaurs were long-necked sauropods, like Argentinosaurus. These animals didn't have spikes or armor, but their bodies were so massive that even the biggest predators sometimes kept their distance. Compared to animals today, giant dinosaurs may seem like the most terrifying creatures in evolutionary history, but they aren't the only bone-chilling beasts to emerge on our planet. One truly terrifying creature lived alongside the dinosaurs about 112 million years ago, during the early Cretaceous period. Sarcosuchus, also known as supercroc, was a prehistoric crocodiliform that measured about 12 meters long and weighed up to 8 metric tons. Sarcosuchus had a long body and a broad snout filled with over 100 conical teeth, well suited for gripping prey. It was also armed with an extremely powerful bite, generating an estimated 18,000 pounds of total force. Even in a world dominated by giant dinosaurs, Sarcosuchus was an apex predator, feared by many and afraid of nothing. Its primary domains were freshwater habitats like rivers, lakes, and swamps. Its diet mostly consisted of fish, but larger specimens may have also hunted dinosaurs and even other crocodilians. In these muddy environments, Sarcosuchus may have masked its hulking body in shallow water and thick vegetation, where it waited patiently for its prey to approach the water's edge. When an animal bent down to drink, Sarcosuchus may have lunged from its hiding place, snapping its massive jaws and crushing its prey with a devastating bite. An equally terrifying reptile slithered through swamps and tropical jungles in modern-day South America. Instead of a supersized crocodile, this river monster was the largest snake ever discovered, the jungle king Titanoboa. At 13 meters long, Titanoboa ranks among the longest and most terrifying swamp monsters of all time. It lived about 60 million years ago in the lowland tropics of Colombia, where it may have fed on fish, turtles, and crocodilians. Paleontologists believe that Titanoboa hunted like modern anacondas. In the early mornings or under the cover of darkness, it ambushed its prey from shallow waters and muddy underbrush. It may have used its strong jaws to bite and hold its prey still. It then coiled its body around its prey, using powerful muscles to suffocate the victim. Finally, Titanoboa likely swallowed its prey whole. A highly flexible jaw structure allowed its mouth to open especially wide, perfect for devouring large animals like prehistoric crocodilians. Over the years, reptilian evolution has produced some frightening semi-aquatic giants, but even more terrifying specimens lived in Earth's ancient oceans. During the Cretaceous period, a giant marine predator called Mosasaurus reached up to 15 meters long, though some estimates suggest they grew even larger. With a massive body, scaly skin, and giant teeth, Mosasaurus resembled a marine dinosaur, but it was actually a closer relative of squamate reptiles, like lizards and snakes. Before Mosasaurus dominated the oceans, its ancestors lived along the water's edge, feeding in the shallows and likely returning to land for activities like sleeping and reproduction. Over time, they adapted to life at sea, evolving flippers, streamlined bodies, and powerful tails for propulsion through the water. Most inhabited large inland seas or lived around continental shelves, where they competed with and sometimes preyed upon the largest marine predators of the day, including plesiosaurs and ancient sharks. Mosasaurus used its strong tail to launch swift and powerful attacks, biting down with razor-sharp teeth and tearing off chunks of meat. Luckily for us, this giant marine reptile, along with all non-avian dinosaurs, disappeared at the end of the Cretaceous period. Still, it remains one of the scariest ocean predators of all time. Mosasaurus may have been huge, but another oceanic terror was even more massive. Popularly known as the largest fish of all time, Megalodon was a colossal shark that lived between the Miocene and Pliocene epochs, around 23 to 3.6 million years ago. Megalodon was a predator so extraordinarily powerful that its legacy still haunts and captivates people today. Its body stretched up to 18 meters long, and because of its bulky muscles, weighed around 65 metric tons. Its jaws were roughly 2 meters wide and boasted at least 5 rows of deadly serrated teeth. They could produce up to 40,000 pounds of force. Of course, Megalodon was not just showing off. It needed such strong jaws to pierce the skin and fat of large marine mammals like baleen whales. To kill such large animals, Megalodon may have relied on multiple hunting strategies. Some scientists believe it ambushed its prey, while others suggest a bite and wait strategy used by many sharks today. With its powerful bite, it would inflict a mortal wound and then stalk its prey, waiting for it to bleed out and gradually perish. Few predators were as large or dominant as Megalodon, but other marine species were just as bone-chilling. Perhaps the most bizarre was Helicoprion, a shark-like fish with a spiral-shaped jaw or tooth whorl, resembling a circular saw blade. Helicoprion lived during the Permian period and likely used its tooth whorl as an efficient hunting tool. When it latched onto prey, its spiral teeth rotated inward, puncturing the skin and pulling its prey deeper into its mouth. Because of its strange anatomy, Helicoprion exploited a unique niche in its ecosystem, preying on animals that other predators struggled to catch or consume. We don't fully understand how or why Helicoprion evolved the way it did, but this mysterious fish looked like something out of a nightmare. During the Cretaceous period, many inland seaways were terrorized by another voracious fish with a mouthful of razor-sharp fangs. Known as Xiphactinus, this ambitious hunter chased and killed almost anything it could find, including juvenile mosasaurs. Xiphactinus did not have wide, crushing jaws like ancient sharks, but what it lacked in power, it made up for in speed. With a strong tail and torpedo-like body, Xiphactinus may have reached speeds up to 60 kilometers per hour, roughly the pace of an adult coyote running on land. Before the evolution of most giant vertebrate monsters, many aquatic ecosystems were the hunting grounds of large armored arthropods. From the Ordovician to the Permian periods, marine arthropods called eurypterids were among the most dominant predators on our planet. Commonly called sea scorpions, these sometimes giant animals shared many superficial characteristics with modern scorpions, like segmented bodies and powerful pincers. Approximately 250 species of eurypterids lived on our planet. The most massive was Jacalopterus, a daunting predator growing up to 2.5 meters long. Fossil evidence suggests that Jacalopterus lived primarily around marshes and river deltas. In these lush, shallow ecosystems, it likely fed on fish and other invertebrates, cracking their exoskeletons with its massive claws. Gigantic arthropods also dominated terrestrial ecosystems, especially those around the equator. During the Carboniferous and early Permian periods, terrestrial arthropods went through a period of unprecedented gigantism. A combination of ideal climate conditions and high oxygen levels led certain species to grow significantly more massive than their modern counterparts. During this age of arthropods, giant griffin flies soared through the air, swooping down to capture prey in their spiny legs. True scorpions also emerged during this period, like the skin-crawling giant Pulmonoscorpius. About as large as a house cat, Pulmonoscorpius attacked its prey with oversized pincers and a pointed stinger at the end of its tail. The most disturbing of these arthropods may have been the gentle giant Arthropleura, an enormous relative of the modern millipedes. Arthropleura's armored body reached up to 2.5 meters long and half a meter wide. Crawling on countless creepy legs, it scuttled across the forest floor, devouring mostly plants and organic matter. Even these massive creepy crawlies pale in comparison to Earth's most terrifying aerial predators. For most of the Mesozoic era, the skies were dominated by flying reptiles called pterosaurs. Among the earliest vertebrates to evolve powered flight, pterosaurs ranged from the size of a pigeon to the wingspan length of a city bus. However, the biggest was probably Quetzalcoatlus, an animal so large that scientists wonder how it even lifted its own body. According to modern estimates, Quetzalcoatlus weighed up to 250 kilograms, and its wingspan measured around 10 to 11 meters. Standing upright, Quetzalcoatlus may have been taller than a modern giraffe, towering over famously giant dinosaurs like T-Rex. When scientists first uncovered fossil evidence of this extraordinary reptile, many questioned how it managed to flap its giant wings from the ground. One theory suggests that Quetzalcoatlus used a jumping start, like herons and egrets today. Quetzalcoatlus probably used its powerful legs to leap from rocks and cliffsides, allowing its wings to clear the ground. Once airborne, it may have flown for thousands of kilometers at a time, reaching speeds up to 130 kilometers per hour. From reptiles to sharks and arthropods, our planet has a long history of deadly and daunting creations. Intimidating, powerful, and bizarre animals have emerged throughout history and across ecosystems, and we've only uncovered a fraction of them. Millions of other creatures are still waiting to be classified, and millions more have simply disappeared from the fossil record. While giant dinosaurs often steal the spotlight, there were many more terrifying monsters than we'll ever know.